It's the Chronicles of a Gooner. It's another live stream. We're back. Hello. Welcome back to the Chronicles of a Gooner. We tried to go live a couple of minutes ago. Apologies. There was an issue with the microphone. I finally got my new camera to work on this software, StreamYard, great software, but it was giving me trouble. I couldn't get my camera to work. Now my new camera works, and then my microphone didn't work. But now they're both working, so we're back. Thank God for that. This is the first of two live streams we're going to be bringing you today. We're going to be talking about the news that Joe Willock has signed a new Arsenal deal. And then a little bit later on, I'm going to be joined by a gentleman from the Watford podcast, where the Hornets Nest, where we'll be looking ahead to Sunday's game, getting his take on the latest news coming out of Vicarage Road. Of course, a change of manager has occurred there, so we'll be getting the download on that too. Big hello to everybody watching us live in who's in the comment section now. Omar, big hello to you, my friend, and to everybody else. And a big hello, of course, to those of you who are tuned in via the audio later on. Now, we're going to talk, of course, about today's big news, and that is that the young Joe Willock has signed a new Arsenal contract. Now, lots of you have been impressed with his performances over the summer and, of course, at the start of this season, including myself. Joe, who turned 20 this month, has been associated with the club since he was just 4 years old. Of course, he's come through the youth ranks. He's one of our own, as they say. So really pleased with that news. Joe has shown some great signs. I thought he showed some good signs last season at times, sort of at the start of the season and in the pre-season, and then he never really got the opportunities throughout the campaign, but he did show this season and this summer, and of course in the early stages of this season, that he's more than capable of stepping up to the plate. So really pleased with that news. Now, technical director Edu had this to say: "We're delighted that Joe has committed his long-term future to us. The hard work of the academy coaches and staff, Joe, his family, and everyone behind the scenes have been the key to the development of his potential. Bringing young players through to the first team from the academy is an important part of our approach, and Joe's progression is a good example of how we want to work in the future." Unai Emery also had some positive words to say in regards to Joe Willock. He said, "Joe has progressed a lot in the last year. He's technically strong and has shown confidence to take responsibility and play his game, whatever the occasion or the opposition. I'm looking forward to working with him to develop his full potential." Now, I think we can all agree that we're pleased, and this is positive news. Joe Willock, for me, has really stepped up to the mark, and lots of people would argue that he warrants a place in the first team at the moment, and it's hard to disagree with that when you look at the performances of some other players at times and some of the mistakes that we continue to make. So I think that Joe Willock will have a huge part to play this season. I don't necessarily think that he's going to start every single week, but I do think that he's going to be a key player in the Europa League. He's going to be a key player in those cup competitions, and he will get his opportunities too in the Premier League. I'm absolutely sure of it. So great news. Joe Willock has signed that new deal. Let me know, of course, what you guys think about it in the comments too. Let's head back to the website, because there are some more bits and pieces in regards to this. Joe Willock, of course, gave an interview, and he said, "In my heart and mind, this is the club for me." He says, "To be at this club is an amazing feeling, and I've always wanted to play for the Arsenal first team. Now I'm doing that. Since the age of 4.5, it's always been my dream, and to sign a new contract today is a brilliant feeling for me and my family." So, of course, Joe Willock, extremely pleased. Arsenal fans all over the world, extremely pleased by the news. So, yeah, let us know your particular thoughts on it in the comments. Of course, Omar says, "That's great news. Joe has shown tremendous progress in the last year, and the least the club could do was offer him a new deal." I agree. He's definitely earned it. There's no question about that. And I've got to hold my hands up, because when Joe Willock did initially break into the Arsenal team, or was sort of in and around the first team, I was a little bit skeptical about him. I wasn't sure whether Joe Willock had what it takes to make that step up and to play regularly in the first team. I've been proved wrong, and I'm happy to say that. Joe Willock has shown sort of the attributes that are required. He's very calm and collected on the ball, works very hard, very industrious, but also has the footballing brain of somebody a lot older. And that is really, really positive. And I guess the turning point for me was probably last season when I went to see the under-23s against Derby. I was covering that game, and what happened was I sort of watched the game and I was trying to identify, who I thought was ready to make that step up. And there were a few impressive players. I thought that, it was clear to see that Arsenal had a real pool of talent to select from, and that, the future looked bright. But I felt that Joe Willock was kind of not quite ready for the first team, but also too good for the under-23s. I felt like he was in that limbo, in that sort of no man's land, but he's made the step up, and he's done brilliantly. So congratulations, Joe Willock, and well done, Arsenal, for sealing the deal. Now, that will bring me to the end of this one. Just a short stream. As I said, we'll be back in around about half an hour's time with Andy Lewis from the Hornets Nest podcast. We'll be looking ahead to Arsenal's trip down to Vicarage Road this coming Sunday. So we'll be back very soon. Until then, take care.